Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you like what we do here and you want us to continue to pump out this great content, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and also make sure to check out our new page. It's PrepZone.info. There, you'll find all of our content in one place, and also all of our game reports and photo galleries from the sports and events we attend and cover. And before I head over to the podcast, I want to say a big thank you to our sponsors. Are you looking to buy or sell your home, or just curious about what the current real estate market is? Check out AlessandraDivinoHomes.com. Working with Alessandra is your key to succeeding in this current real estate market. And also, ASF Sports and Outdoors. ASF is our sponsor for the Student Athlete of the Month, and check them out. They are 1560 Post Road East, and their website is shopasf.com. Now, let's head over to the podcast. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the PrepZone Podcast. I'm your host, Estevao Divino, and I'm so happy to have here the faces and the names behind the Staples Superfans account. I have Alex, Teddy, and Max. How you guys doing?
Good. How about you?
Yeah.
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate you guys taking the time. Since we've been doing PrepZone, you guys were the account that kind of puzzled me the most, right? So, Alex, let me kick it off to you. How did Superfans get started?
Well, I forget who was like the first super fan, or the captain, but it was a couple like 5 years ago around then. I believe it was just like the senior class voted, like a group of people, maybe one or two, but it's now evolved to like this start of the summer we had like post on the Facebook, like a poll, and the entire class voted, and us five managed, or us three plus two more managed to get a spot. And so we've kind of just been running the Instagram. We got the Instagram password from the people before us. There was 5 kids before us. And I mean, we've kind of just been going along with it. We didn't really have like a tutorial or a guidebook. We just,
making your own, right?
I had a little bit of a guidebook.
You did? So
my
go ahead, Max.
stepsister was a Superfans captain last year, so. But I mean, like even though you guys didn't have like a sibling doing it, you still kind of like know what's good because like we are this year, the seniors were last year. Just get like in the front of the crowd. They're loud. They're screaming. That's like really our main job. Just get everybody like hype at the football games.
So it's almost like when I go to soccer games. Sometimes I see these crazy people like in front of the crowd trying to get. That's what you guys do, right? Teddy, talk a little bit about how has it been since you guys started doing it, and what's been the best thing about it for you?
So personally, like the best thing I think was the whiteout football game. That was such a fun game. We had his megaphone, so we could really like project our voice. And the best thing has just been like getting to see people like come out to games and like going to different games, because I became a huge soccer fan this year because I went to so many boys soccer games, so many girls soccer games, and I just realized I like soccer.
Yeah, that's been me with field hockey, right? I had never been to field hockey before we started that, and it's been so fun. Now, Max, you mentioned that I think your sister, right, was part of it.
My stepsister, yeah.
Stepsister was part of it, right?
Yeah.
So when you got voted, what was the first thing that came to mind about Superfans? Is there something you're going to do differently? Something that, hey, this year I'm going to get this done? That I thought that talk about that.
I know. I thought they did get it pretty good last year, but there's one thing that they missed out on. But I can't like take credit for us doing it this year. We made T-shirts. And they had done that in a bunch of like previous years, but for some reason they didn't last year. And it was Eliza Edwards, one of the other Superfan captains. It was her idea. So we got like T-shirts, which I think that's pretty cool because it's like says our graduation year on it and stuff. But I got to give credit to the Superfan captains last year because they were kind of like our inspiration. Like I saw like the biggest crowds last year, and then we've kind of just like built on that this year.
And I agree with that because I remember I had Caleb here, and Caleb talked about how last year, like, was a kind of it started really like the football games were so well attended, and everything we've been covering this year, you guys are really doing a good job doing that. So, Alex, as you go through the games and you guys select, you guys are a team of 5, you said, right? So there's 3 of you guys and 2 more ladies, which we have on in the spring. So how do you guys like divide up your time? You guys are seniors, so there's got to be a lot going on in your lives, right? So how do you guys cover all these games?
Well, yeah, I mean, we're all really busy. I think when it kind of just, we have a group chat, we kind of just divide it up. I do a lot of the posts on Instagram we all kind of just go at it and tackle whatever we can do. I mean, when we were meeting up with you, like Teddy was talking, he just took the reins over. But like Max also runs the DMs as well. We kind of just,
You go at it together, right? I mean, that's the idea. I mean, it's really cool. Now, Teddy, what? So this year's a big football year, right? We got a lot of stuff, and we had a big season. Every sport seemed to be doing really well, right? And you guys talked about soccer and everything. You guys became big soccer fans. As you look back on your senior year, is there one game that's going to stand out, at least for the fall season? I know it's not over yet. One game that you went to, said, man, this game was fun.
Like you said, the whiteout.
Yeah, I'd have to
The whiteout. You have to go with the whiteout. You have to go whiteout. Yeah. That was, unless we make the state playoffs in football, then that might have some see, right?
Game tomorrow.
Tomorrow night will be a lot of fun.
6:30.
Can't wait to be there. Now, do you guys attend a lot of the away games too?
Yeah.
We
try to.
Yeah.
You try.
It depends. Like if it's Wilton, obviously we're gonna be there. But let's go with football. If it's Southington, probably not. If it's
Yeah, when you called, I called the game. I was there for something.
So you called it for WPT? So you did? Oh, that's awesome.
I knew there wouldn't really be much of like a student section there. So me and like my friend Mason Siskin, we went up and called the game, and they didn't have room for us in the box, so we were right in Southington student section. Like I won't lie, they do have a pretty good student section, but it was like the audio must have been crazy because you could really like hear the fans cheering and stuff. But we were kind of giving it to them. So
you know what's funny about that? Because I remember I watched that game on the stream. And they were loud in the beginning, but they were very quiet towards the end.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's what I remember. I mean, we really took it to them, right? So you guys are all seniors.
Yep.
Right? So I want to talk a little bit about what's happening with you guys next year. So start with you, Alex. What are your plans for after high school?
I mean, college, hopefully. I've already applied to a couple places and gotten into a few safeties, which is,
Always good. Yeah.
But, I want to go out west. I mean, I want to ski. I want to snowboard.
Oh, so you're a skier?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Snowboarder. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Love it too. I love doing both. Oh, I only do one, but I love both.
I just want to, be outside a lot. Figure do something with that. Kind of just go with the plan. See what happens. I guess.
Sure. How about you, Teddy?
So I'm also would like to attend college. From there, I'm not sure if I'll be playing baseball or not, but that's a possibility. But I'd probably just go to college as a normal student.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Max?
So same with me, like kind of like Greenlee. I want to go. Well, I didn't only apply to schools out west, but a majority of them are out west. I'm a big skier. I'm on the ski team at Staples. But yeah. So I guess just attend a school. I also play rugby. I don't really know yet if I want to play in college. Definitely got to put on some weight before I do that. But I mean, I'm coming from a pretty good program, and I know a lot of alumni that play in college. So I feel like it's it's not like football. It's not an NCAA sport, so
right.
It's easier to just walk on a team. So I'm not really sure if I want to play it, but yeah, I'm definitely attending school.
So you guys talked about, so you play baseball?
Yeah.
And you ski?
Yeah.
Are you do any sports?
Lacrosse.
Lacrosse, okay. So you were on the state championship team last year?
Yeah.
All right. And baseball, you guys made it all the way up there. And ski team, now the ski team, where you guys ski? Which mountain?
Southington.
Southington Mountain. Oh, so that's why we're at the football game. We used to go to Southington a lot. Yeah. So you guys ski at that mountain?
Yeah. It's not like the best mountain.
Yeah,
but ski team's more like, it's because it's more for like the love of the sport. Like we all just love the ski, so we all get out there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I go, I think about, my high school days, long gone. But, I played football and soccer. In Tennessee, it was different. But, one thing I wish I had done was golf. I love golf, and I could have done golf a lot, right? And I didn't. So that's one thing to think about. All right, so as we look at, I want to talk about, so the Superfans account. How are you guys going to decide who's going to be next year? Is it going to be you guys, going to be the class? How is that going to go?
So I guess kind of just what we did this year. One of the cheerleaders, or like a few of the cheerleaders, just kind of made a Facebook account, or I guess like a community call. I don't really use Facebook. I don't know what to call it, but so they put up a poll, and anyone was you're allowed to add anyone's name or add your own name or whatever, and then everyone can vote for as many people as they want, but you can only vote for each person one time. So it's really just for over a week, your entire grade kind of joins the Facebook and just votes over time. I know. Sometimes it gets close because Teddy and one of our other friends, Mason, they're neck and neck, so they had to redo the poll a couple times.
It also got deleted a bunch of times.
Yeah.
It was a whole thing.
Scandals.
It does get hacked because we run the Student Athlete of the Month, so we do just for Staples, right? And there was one time where out of the blue, one player had 1,700 votes.
Oh,
in 5 minutes. Yeah.
No
And I'm
way.
like, well, this is definitely a hack, right? So I went there, I reset, and then everything was fine after that. But you could tell right away, like, there's no way, like, I put the poll in, and then 30 minutes, 1,700 people go in there and vote.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we're good, but we're not that good, right? It's like anything like that. But the winter sports are coming up, so you guys are going to be very busy, like we're all going to be busy. Any major plans about the sports that you guys are looking forward, something that you say, hey, this is going to be a lot of fun to cover? Alex?
Well, we're really looking forward to basketball. I mean, obviously that's a big winter sport, but I mean, like, there's a ton of other ones, wrestling.
That's right.
Ski
Ski team, I guess.
Ski team
I was going to
doesn't
say, we're just going to
attract the
go with
crowd.
that. Yeah.
That one's a bit harder to cheer for, but
A little bit farther away, and it's kind of confusing to find out what's going on.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Well, you usually got to be at the bottom of the mountain, right? And see, I mean, I think
Yeah.
about Olympics, right?
Yeah.
It's like that. I mean, I've been even talking with a gymnastics coach, and she's talking about, they do it at the YMCA. And like I said, it's hard when it's off-site.
Yeah.
Right? It's so hard to get to it and just be able to cover it. But that's one thing that really, as we go along, that's great. Now, as you guys, do most people at school know who you guys are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in your grade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or when you're grade, right? I
Maybe
think.
not in like underclassmen grades, but like for the most part, like for the upperclassmen, yeah.
And I think, did you mention it's been going on for 5 years?
Maybe
Probably
longer.
than that.
Yeah.
but
Maybe
I
longer
think
than
the Instagram at least has been around for like 5 years.
Okay, so before the Instagram, how was it done? Was it just like
I guess
word of mouth?
Facebook, I think.
But yeah,
Facebook?
probably Facebook, and then like I bet like it's been around probably at least since like the 80s, 90s. Just like the fans showing up probably called themselves like the Superfans.
Yeah.
I don't really know where that like name originated from, but it's not like that. It's a little bit of like a base. Like other schools call themselves like the Superfans.
Yeah, what's interesting about fans, I mean, we cover sports, right? I mean, and I'm assuming you guys do also, you watch a lot of professional sports. It's like, the coaches, and I don't know if you guys listened to the one we had, David Godeshore here, right? And it's interesting because I asked him a question about timeouts, and if you guys, I'm sure you guys remember the Ward game, everything that went on last year, and he was talking about how, sometimes fans are critical, right, of what he's doing. He was almost kind of like, walking through how he calls timeouts. And I thought that was interesting because fans do have a voice, right? I mean, do you guys feel like when you go to a game, like players are like kind of like watching you guys almost a little bit?
So I feel like especially with basketball, since our student section's right on the court, you're more engaged, you're more active, and like not as much as football because you're farther away. Sometimes like they can't even hear us because they're so locked in. But like, yeah, I think we do have an impact on the game.
Oh,
I've talked to players and like they've said like, get a student section out there because like it kind of just like gives them momentum, like like hearing us like chant from. I mean, the outcome of the game, like I don't know if it really relies on us, but like when it's late fourth quarter and you're trying to get a touchdown or you're down and like you hear your fans cheering, like it obviously is going to give you some motivation.
It does. Now, I know I love watching you guys, and there's like certain things that you guys cheer, some things did you guys ever talk about that at all? Like I always think somebody gets, I know in soccer get a yellow card, you can't do that, right? It's always something you guys cheer. Do you guys come up with some other stuff that you're going to like bring it up, or is it something you guys talk about, or is it just kind of happens for the moment?
I
You
mean,
got this.
we have a megaphone. We
Uh-huh.
kind of just use that to try and like lead chants, I guess. We kind of all just try and like get loud. We don't have any like organized like scripts or anything like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Maybe we can look into that. But
Yeah, it was a question. I mean, and I think it's because I speak from like one time we sat at a soccer game, the New York Red Bulls, and like I said, there was a big guy, right? He has a broom and a microphone, and he seemed like he and that's that's where I'm coming on. I think you guys do it right. You always get the right chant at the right time, and I think that's really fun. It's really fun that you guys do that. So that's pretty awesome. So as we move along, and you guys are thinking about next year, right, and all the sports and things that you guys are gonna do. So when you guys are playing a sport, because I think all winter and 2 spring sports. So who do you guys still cover other sports? How do you manage that?
So I think the spring is going to be really interesting because every single captain plays a spring sport. So it's going to be it's going to be interesting.
we'll be busy.
Yeah.
You'll be
so
busy, right?
I know-
Yeah,
I know
that's
for
it.
baseball, I'll be able to get over to lacrosse games pretty easily because we're
Yeah,
right next
right
to each
there.
other, and vice versa with lacrosse because they're always at our games. And rugby is
Don't sleep on rugby.
rugby.
No,
gets-
listen,
gets
rugby.
it.
I've already been contacted. I think you guys have a rugby
Yeah.
coach, and then there's like
Yeah,
the
we just got a new coach. Yeah.
right. You did, right? So I've been in touch with him, and we talked about. I think there's a big thing that you guys have some colleges are coming up, right? There's a big jamboree of some sorts like that.
So we have at like the start of the season, it's like a
Showcase.
Yeah,
Showcase.
the
That's the
rugby
name. That's what I was
showcase.
thinking
So,
about. Showcase. Yeah.
I started playing last year, so I didn't go to it the year before, but like I'm definitely going to it this year.
Yeah, it's. I think it's a lot of fun. I mean, he was talking about having some really big Ivy leagues there, right? And it's like, I remember, and we'll talk about we're playing Fairfield Prep tomorrow night, and I remember reffing the game there, and the rugby team was coming on the field, and those some big boys.
Yeah,
I mean, that was like, I was like, wow, those are big. I mean, just like the football guys, so they're doing a lot of that. All right, so as you look at your 4 years at Staples, what is, Alex, start with you. What's your best memory of the 4 years at Staples? If it's one single thing that happened, or it can be like an overall feeling.
I think it would have to be that Darien lacrosse game at home last year. The massive comeback. We were down like, I think 8 at one point to like our huge rival. It was like everyone was down and kind of low at that point. Like people were leaving, and then out of nowhere, this South African rugby team that's been like,
You want me to take over?
he can
Wait.
take over.
Yeah, can we talk about that story? I don't know what that story is about. Go ahead.
We were playing a South African team that came. They're called St. Andrews College. That like they were doing a tour throughout America, and we have a lot of like South Africans on the team. So one of their parents was like in contact with someone from the school's parents. So they're like, okay, like on this tour, we're gonna play Staples High School, and like I don't know if you caught this before. I'm on the team. We were playing them, and like these kids are huge. Like they're
Insane.
in like the biggest kids I've ever seen. Like they're still high school kids, but they tossed us around in rugby, like beat our first side and second side. Then we all went and like ate lunch together at the little barn after, and a bunch of us were like hosting kids because like they didn't rent out hotels. They're like staying with host families. Mm-hmm. So like I'm good friends with the two kids I met there. Everyone that was hosting kid kind of just like took the two kids that were staying with them and brought them to the lacrosse game. And I remember we showed up, and all the South Africans like bummed out because we're losing, and we were telling them how good our lacrosse team is, and they're like, "What's happening?" So they've most of them have never seen lacrosse before. So they walk in, they just start like we filled up a whole section of the stands. They start cheering, and we start coming back, and all the boys there were definitely going crazy, but the girls were kind of focused on the South Africans. I'm not all of them were facing the wrong direction when we were watching the game.
That's a cool story. So they came, and then you guys hosted, and I mean it's amazing. So obviously that seems like it's an instance there where the fans affected the game, right? I mean, you just mentioned it, how that affected you.
And I mean, it was like we scored one goal, and like none of the Westport people were cheering. I mean, a few people were clapping, but like these South African kids, they were happy to be there. They're all like getting loud and stuff. And then the next goal, like they get even louder, then more people start clapping, and then all of a sudden we're on a roll, and like the whole student section's like literally like screaming and jumping up and down, and then all of a sudden we're winning again, and like everyone's going crazy.
It's the power of belief, right?
Mm-hmm.
From Ted Lasso, right? It's the power of belief. That's amazing. How about you, Teddy? Give me a story that kind of sums up your high school or something so far. I know you got a few more to go, but.
So definitely being on the baseball team last year, state championship game. We didn't win, sadly, but it was 10 innings, maybe 11. Really long game. And I just remember everyone being really tired and looking up. And we're playing in this old stadium, so fans are on top of us, like wooden dugouts, nails maybe sticking out. Nice field, though.
I watched that game on TV as well. It was I remember watching that game. Yeah, everything happened. Yeah.
And we're playing Ward, and they had a huge student section. For us, we didn't have as big of one, but we still had one. And I just remember looking up. My friend just got hit, and he turns around and starts yelling at the Ward student section, just getting really hype. And
I'm sorry, can you say who was yelling at the source? Was it? Oh, somebody from Staples.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, go ahead. Sorry. Okay, yeah.
And that was I just remember that, and that being a really like sick moment, and just kind of summing up my Staples experience.
That's cool. That's really cool. How about you, Max?
Yeah, so I was just gonna kind of talk about like this, like the South African game, because like it was just like so like cool like playing, because we were one of like the better teams in the state, I guess, but like at that point in the season we were ranked pretty high like nationally. So this team came in and just like killed us, and then we played them again. We went to like a tournament in Washington D.C. and they were like whooping all these like best teams until they played like one of the best teams in the country, who then beat them. But this team's not even like nationally ranked in South Africa, and then they came here and just gave it to everybody. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then kind of like the friendships I made, because we all hung out that night too. And it was just like, these are kids that are literally from halfway across the globe. And like, we're all just so similar, and we all like are kind of just bonding over rugby, and we're all just like hanging out. So that was like a really cool experience. And I still like, even kids that I didn't like, that didn't stay at my house, like I still became good friends with them, and I like talk to them like weekly. So I think that's like pretty cool.
That is cool because you get to realize that even though people are growing up in a different environment, right, have access to different things, by the end of the day, we're all still people, right? We connect over things that we like. Like the 4 of us here are connected over sports, right? I mean, we never met each other, but like it's cool because we all share the stories, we all share the love for Staples, right? And like I think you guys will like this, and eventually we'll probably get to this. Talk to Coach Maddie. We're talking about a project that talks about becoming a wrecker. Just talking about people who goes from elementary school to middle school and finally gets high school, because we all funnel into Staples, right? And it's a great place. It really is. It had all these things, and you guys, I think at least in my short time doing this, you guys are making a difference. So good job on that. So you guys are doing a really good job, and I want to thank you all for being here. It was really good having you here.
Thank you.
Yes. But before we go, we want to do some quick hits. All right, get some fun stuff in. All right. So I'm gonna ask you guys a question, then we go down the line. All right, we start with that. All right. So we start with Alex. Alex, favorite Drake song?
Ooh, Pain 1994, right? Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Daddy?
I'm gonna copy Alex here. That's a good song.
Probably it's like an old one, but like I don't even know the name of it. It's so long, but like Just Holding On, I'm Going Home, I think it's called. That one's just like so like nostalgic. Like I don't listen to it like often, but it's one of those songs like when it comes on, you're just like, oh crap.
You just feel it, right? Yeah, I like it. All right, TikTok or Instagram?
Instagram.
Instagram.
All right. Favorite movie or series?
I was a big Marvel guy for a while, but I've come back around to Star Wars.
I'm gonna go Wolf of Wall Street. It's just a classic.
Series and Shameless.
I like it. All right. One food, since we just passed Thanksgiving, one food that you'd be okay with removing from your Thanksgiving dinner?
Ooh.
It can be anything, because I've heard turkey before, so go ahead and say anything.
There's this like crusty potato corn casserole thing that my sister eats. It smells terrible.
You could do without.
I've never eaten it. I'll never touch it. It can get off my table.
I think turkey's overrated. It's a staple of Thanksgiving, but outside of that, it's overrated.
I don't really know if it counts as a food, but I've never touched the cranberry sauce at Thanksgiving.
Or stuffing.
What?
I've never had. Like,
you never
I've
had
never
stuffing?
touched stuffing. No,
Really?
Never.
No,
That's
it's
crazy.
interesting because it's like, Thanksgiving game, right? I think somebody asked Caleb right off the field. He goes, "Oh, I'm a big cranberry guy." So it's like everyone's different. So that's why that's great to know, you guys. Okay, math or English?
Ooh, math.
English.
Fiction or nonfiction?
Nonfiction.
Nonfiction.
Beach or sightseeing?
Beach.
Sightseeing.
Beach.
Coolest thing in your room?
Ooh. I have a really cool not like display case, but like shelf. I've kind of like accumulated like little toys and gadgets over like kind of my high school life, and so I'm pretty proud of it. I think it's pretty cool. It's really messy, but
I have an alligator head that my grandpa gave me. I think that's pretty sick.
I have like a couple of my dad's like old like albums, so like a Beatles album or 3 Beatles albums and like the original James Bond soundtrack. So I think those were pretty cool.
Awesome. All right. One thing you can't live without?
probably I'm gonna say my car. I drive a lot.
I'm gonna say my phone.
That's kind of different with skiing. I'm a fiend for skiing. That's all I gotta say.
I like that. Okay. If you could have lunch with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be?
Ooh.
It's interesting because I put you on the spot every time, and they have a lot of time to think, right? They're sitting there thinking about the question, but anyone comes to mind?
Neil deGrasse Tyson, that scientist. I feel
No
like
way.
just to pick his mind would be really interesting.
I'm gonna go my great grandpa. I was named after him. Never got the chance to meet him, but he's a really cool guy.
I don't know, cause like growing up, like I would have said Tom Brady, cause he's like my idol, but I want it to be like a fun experience. So
Mac Jones.
No. But Probably like Joey Diaz, if you know who that is. He's like a comedian. He's just not a lot of people know him. He's hilarious. Like I couldn't imagine like sitting with him for like 30 minutes and having a conversation with
It'd
him.
make you laugh for 30 minutes,
Yeah,
right? Yeah, that'd
30
be so
minutes
cool.
straight.
All right, and last one, if you could go back and relive one day of your life, what day would that be?
Ooh. I'll probably say this summer, just for fun. My like first day of lifeguarding. It was just like the most relaxing. Like I was kind of really stressed about it because it's like first day at work, and I was working down at Campo Beach, and
Okay.
like right away it was just like the most relaxing thing. Like I fit in with all the people there, and like I literally was just sitting out by the beach, like watching the water, and so like that was probably one of like the higher points of my life, I'll say. So
Awesome.
Probably so I'm Norwegian, so I go there for over the summer for however long I can.
Mhm.
Just any day there, just pick a day. Just one of those.
Awesome.
Yeah, I kind of got the same answers. I was thinking like summer camp growing up. Like if I could just like literally any random day would just be like awesome to live through that.
Right. And that's the key, right? 'Cause like it's about knowing that you are in the good old days before you leave them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right? Think about that. So like you guys still got, a few high school days. Enjoy that, right? Because it's like that's you're gonna think, man, those are the good old days. I was right in them, right?
Yeah.
So guys, thank you so much for being here. All right, we'll continue to follow you guys. Thanks for all the work you do.
Thanks for having us.